Inspired by President Barack Obama, there is now an 18-year-old Gen Zer who is running for mayor in Fairfield, Alabama, in the same state as Tommy Tuberville, right in his backyard. Now, before I play you the clip of his announcement video, if you want daily, independent, and progressive media, then subscribe. I'm the only independent progressive media on YouTube covering Gen Z and other youth in politics, so again, subscribe for more of these kinds of videos. It's free to subscribe, but most importantly, you can always change your mind. With that said, here's the video of 18-year-old Brandon Moss announcing his run for mayor of Fairfield, Alabama, 2 weeks after graduating high school.
An 18-year-old who's looking to lead.
Yes, his name is Brandon Moss. Despite just graduating from high school, he's running for mayor in Fairfield, Alabama, near Birmingham. Moss says managing the city's finances and attracting new businesses are among his top priorities.
We, as the next generation, have to be able to move with the time. We have to mature to do what we need to do to be the leaders of the future.
He also plans to attend the University of Alabama, Birmingham.
Fairfield is my home, and I'm running for mayor because I love this city. I have been interested in the inner workings of politics and being more so of a lawyer. The passion came along after being involved in politicians' office the last 4 years or longer. So it kind of just gave a better insight on what I wanted to do with my life. Originally, it was just about bringing businesses and a better way of living to the city of Fairfield and more affordable homes. It was not originally about running for mayor. After seeing the process, I felt that it was a bigger need in the city of Fairfield. We can move the city with a new innovative style of thinking because the city of Fairfield could possibly be like Huntsville and Birmingham and Atlanta, just somewhere a little bit smaller, but on another level. Age doesn't guarantee wisdom or innovation. I'm not going to say I'm perfect or that I know it all, because I don't. It takes a team of good people to be able to accomplish good things.
For those of you that are curious, this is an article on Brandon Moss's run, and it's from ABC News. It's titled, 18-year-old runs for mayor in Alabama, says he's ready to take on challenge. And so the opening statement is, 2 weeks after crossing the stage to receive his high school diploma, 18-year-old Brandon Moss stepped foot on another podium, this time announcing his run for mayor of Fairfield, Alabama. Fresh out of high school and beginning preparations for college this fall, Moss is the youngest mayoral candidate in the history of Fairfield, a city about 9,500 people that is southwest of Birmingham, according to his campaign manager, Marilyn Yelder. I am ready to take on this challenge. Age doesn't guarantee wisdom or innovation. I'm not saying I'm perfect or I know it all. It would take a team of good people to be able to accomplish good things. And this is Brandon Moss, as you could see from the video I showed you earlier. When he launched his campaign on June 7th, the Fairfield native told reporters that he is running for mayor because I love this city and I believe in its future. And who better to represent this city and its future than someone from the future generation? I mean, we're going to have we have millennials right now, and we're starting to see some people, members of Gen Z, like Brandon Moss, that are now running for office. And soon we're going to see Generation Alpha and later on in the coming years, Generation Beta. Continuing, it states, Moss, who has always been interested in the inner workings of politics, told ABC News he decided to run for mayor after noticing a bigger need in the city of Fairfield, specifically regarding businesses and a better way of living. Citing Birmingham Mayor Randall Woodfin, who has been in office since 2017, and former President Barack Obama as his political role models, Moss said he plans on bringing a new vision and fresh perspective to the mayoral office if elected. I think it's really interesting, especially, this new vision and fresh perspective, because I know experience is going to be a criticism that Brandon Moss will face when he's running for mayor. No matter what office you're running for, that is always a question that young candidates that I've talked with, that I've worked with in my life, have told me and talked to me about. It happens to every young candidate that runs for office, but, what experience do you have running, or what experience do you have governing or legislating? But when has that ever been something asked to the people that are much older but newly elected to Congress that stay in that seat while they further enrich themselves via insider trading? That's just one example of the many, many more. And, I'm not saying that you can't be older and be in Congress or in government right now. That's absurd to say you can't do that. But what I'm saying is that those people who have been, for instance, in Congress for decades can't just feel entitled to those seats and refuse to make way for the younger generations. And, by this point in time, in previous generations, we were already seeing very visible and blatant young talent and leadership being built. For some reason now, it's being blocked. But Brandon Moss is saying that he'll bring a new vision and fresh perspective to the mayoral office if elected. And that's a really great thing, because there's some things that Generation Z has experienced that, like other generations that are older in political office, have not, and vice versa. So we need the best of two worlds, or in this case, many worlds, because we're not just talking about, for instance, boomers and Gen Z. We're talking about millennials too, and Gen Y, Gen Alpha. But continuing, it states, the past administrations and the people that are running have done a great job in Fairfield, but I think it's time that we look for something new, Moss said. And this is Brandon Moss at his podium announcing his run. His political portfolio includes experience working in the Alabama Youth and Government Program, as a youth senator, and in the governor's cabinet, along with serving on the student advisory board for the superintendent of Birmingham City Schools. I think those are pretty crazy qualifications, especially at this age. He also worked as an executive intern for the superintendent's office and is a graduate of the Birmingham Academy of Civic Engagement. If elected mayor, Moss said he will focus on the city's finances by bringing in a forensic auditor to monitor the city's spending, and will also highlight small businesses by creating pop-up stores in a shopping mall so they can have a, quote, chance to be seen. And I think that's really wonderful, especially, I don't think it's talked about enough because of the death of third spaces, communal environments where people can go that's not school and not home, that's not work, but just to hang out flat out. This loneliness crisis that is coming from the lack and death of third spaces is only further compounded by just our lack of physical interactions with each other following the COVID pandemic. And I would argue that this instance where we're having like a loneliness crisis seen across the country, I would argue that it played a role in Trump's victory. How significant? We can debate about that. But continuing, it states, Moss also plans on tackling blight, an issue where rundown or vacant homes become overgrown with vegetation. Moss said if elected, he will work with the federal government to receive grants that can help remove these homes from the community. Moss, who is attending the University of Alabama at Birmingham this fall, is prepared to juggle college classes and mayoral responsibilities. Yoder, his campaign manager, told ABC News. He does have a team of mentors for every aspect, not just to help him get to mayor, but people that are helping with public speaking, mental health. I think he will be more than prepared, even at 18, to take on the role as mayor of Fairfield. Continuing, it states, other candidates vying for the office include Councilman Herman Carnes, Councilman Cedric Norman, former Midfield Councilman and Fairfield native James Reeser, and financial consultant Michael Williams. So this is going to be a pretty crowded field, so keep that in mind. And if Moss isn't elected on August 26th, Moss said he will plan on working in a political office. If the votes are in his favor, he said he will do the job and see where it takes me. And I think this is a wonderful thing. Even if he doesn't win, we're building a bench. And, we need to build a bench in this country. I'm not talking about just young people running for Congress. I'm talking about a bottom-up approach. Local office, state office, federal office like Congress. Start local. If you want to go to Congress in the end, that's all right. But I feel like we need to focus more attention to young people running for the local offices that really, I would argue, impact your lives the most. Especially since Congress now rarely gets things done, especially during this Trump administration. Not just with partisan gridlock, but with the fact that many legislators like Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert would rather make a show house of Congress. And this is not even talking about the procedural mechanics of Congress that make the body an institution in of itself very slow, like the filibuster. But anyways, thank you so much for watching this video, and I would definitely recommend supporting Brandon Moss. We also now have channel memberships, so if you want to become a member, it's $3.99, and it goes a long way to supporting the channel. Again, thank you so much for watching, and if you made it this far, then comment a blue heart.